Evil Dead, the game is a multiplayer project where 4 heroes must perform a ritual and drive out evil spirits, and a powerful demon controlled by another player tries to stop them. But did the developers manage to refresh the familiar concept? I will talk about this in this video. I welcome you to the RTV Gaming channel, and we are starting. Horror fans love the Evil Dead. The incomparable Sam Raimi, who recently directed the entertaining Doctor Strange superhero movie, launched the franchise back in 1981 and has since become a staple of pop culture. Even viewers who haven't watched a single movie have definitely heard of the tough guy with a chainsaw for a hand. But the video game franchise did not work out. A lot of them came out, with the first one dating back to 1984, but they didn't do anything suitable for gamers. As a result, the best game featuring Ash is Dead by Daylight, which has nothing to do with the Evil Dead. Everything should have changed with the release of Evil Dead, the game. In the videos, the heroes cracked down on evil spirits, ran after the Necronomicon and tried to expel the mighty demon, and evil in response persistently plotted. It looked curious, but the community also had enough fears. Will the novelty fail? Well, Evil Dead, the game really is the best Evil Dead game out there. That's just not the high quality of new items, but the lack of competition. Evil Dead, the game is a multiplayer game and doesn't really have a storyline. The 4 heroes land on the map and must pile on evil. What kind of story can be discussed here? However, the developers still added a single mode. Now it has 5 tasks available. Among them there are both funny and creepy. For example, in the first, Ash is driven crazy by his late girlfriend Linda. She appears to the hero in dreams, sees herself among the trees and eventually forces her lover to grab a boomstick, a chainsaw and go in search of the body. In another story, Ash's car was stolen with the Necronomicon in the trunk. Now he is going to throw a great party to thieves there. All that remains is to run around the map and collect strong drinks. Another story tells about Lord Arthur, who pleased in our time. Fortunately, if he collects powerful artifacts, he can return home. Alas, there is nothing interesting in the single. The stories are primitive, and alone running around the area and beating deadites is boring. However, you still have to fly into the mode, because new heroes are unlocked for completing missions. If you want to take control of Ash from the series, do not skip the tasks. You will be bored for 20 minutes, but you will get a cool hero. In the future, the developers plan to add new levels to the single. Perhaps they will be more interesting, but so far there is nothing to catch in this mode. Still, Evil Dead, the game relies on multiplayer. Evil Dead, the game multiplayer begins with character selection. Initially, 9 survivors are available, but after completing the single, 4 more can be unlocked. The characters are divided into 4 classes. Someone is good at close combat, and someone is good at shooting, healing allies or reducing the level of fear. Curiously, each category has its own version of Ash, so don't be surprised when 4 Williams gather on the rink. Occasionally people choose other characters, but more often the choice is obvious. Also, one of the players will take control of the demon. There are 3 types in total, and each has its own ships. The commander coolly strengthens ordinary mobs, the puppeteer scares the survivors better and moves into them more efficiently, the necromancer summons a flutist who pumps already strong skeletons. Plus, everyone has a set of other abilities. For example, the puppeteer's mobs can explode, emitting powerful lightning, and he himself does not mind shocking the survivors with a current. It is worth noting that even though the demons are different, the choice does not particularly affect the basic gameplay. The skating rinks in any case follow a single formula. The only difference is that it is better for the necromancer to descend on the surviving skeletons, and then call on the flutist, and the puppeteer needs to scare the poor fellows and move into them. Choosing a survivor doesn't change anything either. The main feature of unique classes is in abilities. For example, a healer can create an area where the team will restore HP. However, like everyone else, the healer will carry a cleaver, rifle or other similar weapon, unless they do less damage. Each survivor and demon can be pumped. For the success of the characters are awarded experience points. The leveling tree makes hitting more powerful, shots deadlier, health bar longer, and stuff like that. During the passage, every extra percentage matters. For example, improved resistance to fear in a critical situation will not allow the demon to take control of the character and kill the entire group. It turns out that if you decide on a hero and play only for him, over time you will get a noticeable advantage. On the one hand, pumping pleases, but at the same time it does not allow you to regularly change the character. By choosing a beginner, you will not be as effective as usual. However, this is a standard technique in projects of this genre, so it's impossible to unambiguously attribute mechanics to pluses or minuses. Everyone has their own opinion. As you can see, the system of characters and demons in Evil Dead, the game is standard. All this gamers have already seen in other games of a similar genre. At the same time, the gameplay cycle of the survivors is more curious. In order to exorcise the demon, they will have to go through a lot. Heroes can brandish melee weapons, effectively finish off evil spirits, shoot from various cannons, dodge attacks, run, drive cars and use consumables. You will have to do this often. First of all, the 4 must drive through a large area and collect 3 cards. When the cards are in the hands of the heroes, they will find out the location of the Necronomicon and the Kandarian dagger. It will be more difficult to take possession of them, since the survivors cannot run up to the relic, grab it and dump it away. As soon as you get to the place, a battle starts, copying the mechanics of capturing points. Around the dagger or the Necronomicon, a zone is formed from which it is impossible to leave. At the same time, the demon will unleash crowds of mobs on the heroes, and he himself will look into the light to kill everyone or at least squeeze the opponents out of the zone. Once the relics are in good hands, it's time for the final push. You need to get to the place of the ritual, drive out the guards with a dagger and, in the end, protect the Necronomicon while it drives out evil spirits. If you manage, you can celebrate the victory. At the same time, there are other activities on the map, without which the mission cannot be completed. In abandoned houses, you can find weapons of increased rarity. Consumables like first aid kits and protective amulets are scattered around the area. Only if you pay attention to all issues, there is a chance to cope with the task. However, even in this case it will not be easy. A huge number of mobs roam the area, trying to ruin the lives of the poor fellows. However, without a leader, they are weak. Only a mighty demon will lead the evil spirits to victory. The trick is that at first the demon really does not know how. He just flies around the location as an incorporeal spirit and does little harm. It will move into a tree and shibanet poor fellows with branches. Take control of the car and try to run over the group. For a short period, it will take over the consciousness of one of the characters and suddenly give everyone a beating. Set a trap for a monster to jump out of. In general, there are many activities, but they, at most, will spoil the mood of the survivors. To kill the group, you need something more. That is why leveling is even more important for the demon than for the survivors. The villain needs to collect clots that will allow him to use abilities and increase power levels. Over time, the demon will learn to summon strong creatures from portals, make mobs more deadly, and even be able to look into the light on its own. The problem with demon gameplay is that most of the time it's useless. Fly yourself sadly around the map, increase the level and scare the little people when they are close at hand. At this time, the villain has no chance to seriously harm the group. Well, then what's the point of disturbing the survivors while they go about their business? In fact, the fate of the rink is decided at the checkpoints, where the heroes try to pick up the Necronomicon, the dagger, or expel the Dark Ones. It is at this moment that the demon has a chance to kick everyone's asses. Alas, during the battles for priceless relics, the imbalance of Evil Dead, the game is felt. The fact is that the demon gets a serious advantage. The group is already being attacked by enemies from all sides, and then the villain is plotting. If he manages to pump the creatures and his own physical shell, the chances of survivors will approach 0. In this case, the procedure is simple. If playing as a necromancer, place traps on relics, open a portal with elite mobs, release a flutist, and then take on a physical form and kill everyone. In most cases, the heroes will not find counter-arguments. In order to survive in the confrontation with a skilled villain, the group must act perfectly. Always stick together, find the rarest weapons, collect the necessary consumables and apply abilities like healing in time. At checkpoints, you should not look for trouble when the demon himself looked at the light, but keep your distance and unite in order to get rid of the boss as soon as possible. At the same time, it is worth making a mistake at least once, as all efforts will go down the drain. At first, the gameplay of Evil Dead, the game is fun, but the game fizzles out too quickly. But Evil Dead, the game looks good. In technical terms, the game is simple, but the artists have drawn the most atmospheric locations. As a result, it's nice to look even at forests and swamps. Separately, the developers should be praised for the lighting, which looks decent without tracing and other bells and whistles. The light from torches and sparkling lightning add charm to the picture. At the same time, the visual perfectly conveys the atmosphere of the Evil Dead. The authors skillfully maintained the tones, balanced the color scheme and filled the area with many recognizable details. This is exactly what a game based on a cult franchise should look like. Unless there is too much soap on the screen. The sound in the game is also great. We are talking about both background tracks and other sounds. The peals of thunder are convincing, terrible voices of evil spirits are heard from all sides, the chainsaw roars with relish, tearing the monsters apart. In this regard, there are no complaints about Evil Dead, the game. Evil Dead, the game is not a bad game, rather, it is mediocre. The developers failed to come up with features that would surprise the players and really captivate them for months to come. You can try it at the start, but don't expect too much from the game.